Hornbill Book, Lesson 6, The Browning Version by Terence Rattigan. The Browning Version is the play that cemented Terence Rattigan's reputation as a serious, mature playwright. It is viewed as one of his best works and one of the best one-acts ever written. First performed at the Phoenix Theatre, London, England on September 8, 1948. The Browning version was coupled with another one act by Rattigan entitled Harlequinade under the umbrella name Playbill 1. This show ran for 245 performances, and Rattigan received the Alan Terry Award for the Browning version, his second. The Browning version made its New York debut with Harlequinade on October 12, 1949, but only ran for 62 performances, while praise from British audiences and critics was nearly universal when the play was performed in England. American critics were generally not as kind to the Broadway version, perhaps due to the subject matter. Characters in the play: Mr. Crocker Harris, who is a middle-aged teacher, Taplow, a student, Mr. Frank, a young science teacher, and Millie, the wife of Mr. Crocker Harris. Here is a picture from the play which was performed, the different characters. The play presents a conversation between a lower 5th grade science student, Taplow, and Frank, a teacher. A chance meeting between Taplow and Frank. The scene of the play is set in a school. The play opens with a 16-year-old boy, Taplow, who has come to do extra work for his teacher, Crocker Harris. He is waiting for his teacher, who has not yet arrived. Another teacher, Frank, finds Taplow waiting in the room and strikes a conversation with him. The question of the extra work. Taplow is doing extra work as he had missed a class a week ago. Frank remarks that Taplow will certainly get his remove for doing the extra work. Remove means his grades. But Taplow feels the other way. He asserts such sort of rules do not work with Mr. Crocker Harris, as he is not like other teachers who appreciate the students who do extra work. Taplow's views on art and science. Their conversation provides us an insight into the mind of Taplow. He lets Frank know how much he dislikes the play Agamemnon. He is more interested in science. He admits that though the play is not that bad, the way it is taught is terrible. Just a lot of Greek words strung together and 50 lines if you get them wrong. Further contemplation on Crocker Harris' character. Frank admits envying Mr. Harris for the effect he has on his students. He asks Taplow if Mr. Harris beats them. However, Taplow tells Frank that unlike one or two of the other teachers, Mr. Harris is not a sadist. He is not a sort of a person who would beat students and vent his frustration. He is hard like a nut. He is heartless. He possesses no feelings at all. Taplow's unusual liking towards Crocker Harris. Taplow admits that, in spite of all this, he still likes Crocker. The boy narrates an incident when he laughed at a classical joke cracked by Harris, though he had not understood it. It was a gesture from Taplow's side to be polite to him. Millie Crocker is the wife of Crocker Harris. She is a thin woman in her late 30s. She is rather more smartly dressed than the general run of schoolmasters' wives. Both Frank and Taplow feel her presence. Taplow feels uneasy. He fears that perhaps she heard him talking ill of Mr. Harris. She sends Taplow to a chemist. She agrees to take the blame on her in case Mr. Crocker Harris comes in Taplow's absence. Character sketch of Mr. Crocker Harris. Highly disciplined and principled, Crocker Harris was a teacher who would not compromise on the rules and regulations to suffice sentiments of students. Some may agree with his way of thinking, others may criticize him of being too fastidious. A teacher who was hard on students when it came to studies. He was not of those teachers who would crack romantic jokes in the class to make studies fun. Rather, his jokes were poor, according to his student. Tableau, as not a single student was able to comprehend them. Character sketch of Tableau. An intelligent boy of 16 years and a student of lower 5th form in a public school and hopes to specialize in science. He is obedient and hardworking by nature. He finds science more exciting than classical plays. Now the character sketch of Mr. Frank, a young science teacher, rather moody and not interested in the science he teaches. He feels that he has to teach only the dull and show learners. Loves to hear scandalous talk about his co-workers from the students.